Sometimes you don't even realize when it starts happening. You slowly become emotionally detached from everything around you. Not because you want to stop caring, but because your mind became too exhausted to keep feeling everything so deeply. At first, it feels temporary. You tell yourself you're just tired, just stressed, just emotionally overwhelmed for a few days. But then the feeling stays. And little by little, you stop reacting to life the way you used to. Things that once mattered deeply barely affect you anymore. Conversations feel distant. Excitement fades quickly. Even happiness feels strangely muted sometimes, like your emotions are happening behind a wall you cannot fully reach anymore. And honestly, that feeling can become terrifying because emotional detachment does not always feel like sadness. Sometimes it feels like nothing. No excitement, no connection, no emotional clarity. Just a quiet numbness that slowly follows you everywhere. And maybe lately, you've noticed yourself pulling away from people without fully understanding why. Not replying as much, avoiding conversations, wanting more silence, more isolation, more distance from emotional pressure. Not because you hate people, because your mind became tired of carrying emotional weight constantly. When someone spends too long emotionally overwhelmed, the brain sometimes protects itself by becoming emotionally distant, not as weakness, as survival. Because feeling everything intensely all the time becomes exhausting. So eventually, the nervous system tries to reduce the emotional noise, and that emotional shutdown slowly changes the way life feels. You stop feeling present. Days blur together. Moments pass without leaving emotional impact. Even important things begin to feel strangely empty. And the scariest part is realizing you no longer recognize yourself emotionally. You remember being more alive once, more expressive, more connected, more emotionally open. But now, everything feels muted, like your emotions exist somewhere far away from you. And no matter how hard you try, you cannot fully reach them anymore. Emotional detachment can happen very slowly, so slowly that most people do not notice it happening until they already feel disconnected from themselves. And because you still function normally on the outside, almost nobody realizes how emotionally exhausted you truly are inside. You still work, still smile sometimes, still go through routines, but internally, life feels emotionally flat, like your mind stopped allowing itself to fully feel things anymore. And honestly, that kind of invisible numbness can become deeply isolating because it becomes difficult to explain to other people. How do you explain feeling disconnected from your own emotions? How do you explain feeling emotionally absent, even while physically present? Most people assume emotional pain always looks dramatic, but sometimes emotional pain becomes silent, quiet, invisible, numb. And those are often the moments when a person needs understanding the most. But emotional detachment does not mean you are broken. It often means your mind has been emotionally overloaded for too long. Too much stress, too much overthinking, too much emotional survival, without enough peace. Eventually, the nervous system becomes tired of staying emotionally exposed all the time, so it disconnects, not to destroy you, to protect you. And maybe healing begins the moment you stop blaming yourself for feeling emotionally distant. Because numbness is not failure. Sometimes numbness is simply the mind's way of saying, I have been overwhelmed for too long. And maybe, instead of forcing yourself to feel everything again immediately, the first step is simply allowing yourself to rest emotionally for the first time in a very long time.